Picture this. Sarah just checked her net worth tracker, and for the first time, the number reads $500,000. She closed the laptop. Then she opened it again just to make sure. Same number. And here's the strange part. She didn't feel rich. She felt confused because nothing around her had changed. Same apartment, same car, same coffee order. So why did this number feel so heavy? Here's something almost nobody tells you about hitting $500,000. It's not the moment your life transforms. It's the moment your mind starts changing. Sometimes before your bank account catches up. And if you don't understand what's happening inside your head, this milestone can quietly mess with your decisions in ways that actually slow down your progress. So let's talk about what really happens at $500,000, the psychological shifts nobody warns you about, and how to handle them so this number becomes fuel instead of friction. Hey, welcome back to Zaki Invests. If this is your first time here, I'm Zaki, and this channel is all about making money actually make sense. No confusing jargon, no boring spreadsheets, no pretending you need a finance degree to understand your own bank account. Just simple, honest breakdowns of how money really works, how people think about it, and how small decisions today quietly shape your entire financial future. Whether it's investing, saving, building wealth, or just understanding why your brain does weird things with money, this is the place where we break it all down together, one idea at a time. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, stick around. Let's get into it. The problem. The myth of arrival. Most people imagine money milestones like leveling up in a video game. You hit the number, a little chime plays, and suddenly you unlock new powers. Confidence, security, maybe a sense of, I've made it. But here's the myth. Money milestones don't unlock feelings, they unlock decisions. And decisions require a completely different mindset than the one that got you here. Think about it like climbing a mountain in fog. For years, all you can see is the next 10 feet in front of you. Save more, cut this expense, invest a little here. Your entire focus is survival and growth. You're climbing, 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 and the fog hides everything else. Then, suddenly, at $500,000, the fog lifts a little. And for the first time, you can actually see how high up you are. You can see how far you've come, but you can also see how far there still is to go, and how many directions you could go in. And that view? It's disorienting. Some people freeze, some people panic, some people suddenly feel an urge to take bigger risks just to make something happen with this new view. None of these reactions mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain is adjusting to new information, and that adjustment takes psychological work, not just financial work. The main explanation, 4 shifts nobody talks about. Let's break down exactly what changes, piece by piece. Shift 1. Money stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like identity. When you have very little money, every dollar has a job, rent, food, bills. Money is purely functional. It's a tool for staying afloat. But somewhere around the $500,000 mark, something subtle happens. Your basic needs are usually covered. The emergency fund exists. The debt for many people is shrinking or gone. And suddenly, money isn't just keeping you alive anymore. It starts becoming a mirror, a reflection of who you are. Am I someone who has money now? Does that change how I should act, how I should dress, where I should live, what car I should drive? This is where a strange trap appears. Some people, without realizing it, start spending in a way that matches the identity they think they should have at this net worth, rather than the identity that got them here in the first place. Imagine a chef who spent years perfecting a simple, incredible recipe using basic ingredients. Then one day, people start calling him a fancy chef, and suddenly he feels pressure to use expensive ingredients, just because that's what fancy chefs are supposed to do, even though his simple recipe was the thing that made him great. That's what happens to a lot of people's finances at this stage. The habits that built the $500,000 quietly get replaced by habits that look like what someone with $500,000 should do. And ironically, that shift can slow down everything that comes next. Shift 2. The comparison target moves, and it moves fast.
Here's something almost cruel about human psychology. When you had $10,000, you probably compared yourself to people with $50,000 or $100,000. That gap felt motivating, maybe even exciting. But at $500,000, Your brain doesn't pat itself on the back for long. It immediately starts scanning for the next comparison. And now, instead of comparing yourself to someone with 100,000, you start noticing people with 1 million, 2 million, or more. Psychologists have a name for this pattern. It's sometimes called the hedonic treadmill, but it doesn't just apply to spending and happiness. It applies to financial goals, too. The treadmill speeds up right as you start gaining momentum, so the relief you expected to feel at $500,000 gets replaced by a new sense of still not enough. Here's a simple way to picture it. Imagine you're walking up an escalator that's also moving. Every step you take feels like progress, but the escalator is also adjusting its speed based on how fast you're climbing. So no matter how hard you work, the top always seems to stay just out of reach. This isn't a flaw in you, it's just how the brain is wired. But if you don't recognize it, you can spend years feeling like you're failing, even while you're actually doing better than ever. Shift 3. Decisions get heavier, not lighter. This one surprises almost everyone. You'd think more money means less stress about decisions, but often the opposite happens. At least for a while. When you had $20,000, your financial decisions were relatively simple. Save a bit more here, cut a small expense there. The stakes were small, so the anxiety around each decision was small too. At $500,000, the stakes change. Now, a single decision, where to invest, whether to buy a property, whether to start a business, whether to change jobs, can swing your future by tens of thousands of dollars. And your brain, which evolved to avoid big risks, suddenly treats every financial choice like it's life or death. Here's a useful comparison. Imagine you're carrying a small backpack with a few books in it. If you trip, no big deal. You adjust, you're fine. But now, imagine carrying a backpack full of glass. Every step feels more careful, more deliberate, because the cost of dropping it feels so much higher. That's the psychological shift at $500,000. The backpack got heavier, even if it's actually carrying more value than ever. And that weight can lead to a strange kind of paralysis, where people sit on cash, avoid decisions, or overthink simple choices, simply because the stakes finally feel real. Shift 4. You start noticing what money can't buy. This last shift is the quietest, but maybe the most important. When you're far from $500,000, it's easy to believe that money will solve almost everything. More money means less stress, more freedom, more happiness. That belief is actually helpful early on. It keeps you motivated. But once you're sitting at $500,000, something interesting happens. You start to notice that some problems didn't disappear. Maybe relationships are still complicated. Maybe work still feels unfulfilling some days. Maybe you still feel that low hum of anxiety sometimes, even though the bank account looks healthier than ever. This can feel like a letdown, almost like reaching the end of a long hallway, expecting a door, and finding a mirror instead. But here's the insight hidden inside that moment. It's not that money failed you, it's that money was never designed to do everything. Money is incredible at solving money problems. It can remove the stress of unpaid bills, give you options, create breathing room, but it was never going to fix things that aren't financial in nature. Realizing this at $500,000 isn't a failure. It's actually a kind of upgrade, because once you stop expecting money to be a magic fix for everything, you can finally use it more wisely for the things it's actually good at. The insight section. Net worth is a mirror, not a trophy. Here's the deeper truth hiding underneath all 4 of these shifts. Most people treat net worth like a trophy, something you display, something that proves you made it, something that should make you feel a certain way once you reach it. But net worth doesn't work like a trophy. It works like a mirror. It reflects your habits, your mindset, and your relationship with money back at you, often more clearly than ever before. At $50,000, the mirror is small and blurry. You can't see much detail. But at $500,000, the mirror gets bigger and clearer. Every habit you have, good or bad, becomes more visible.
because now there's more at stake. If you have a habit of avoiding financial decisions, that habit becomes more costly. If you have a habit of comparing yourself to others, that comparison becomes louder. If you have a habit of tying your self-worth to your bank account, that connection becomes stronger. This is why some people who reach $500,000 actually feel more anxious than they did at $50,000, not less. Not because anything went wrong, but because the mirror got bigger, and old patterns that used to be small are now reflected at a larger size. The good news, a bigger mirror also means you can finally see the patterns clearly enough to change them.
The actionable insight. What to actually do with all of this? So what should you actually do with all of this? First, recognize that hitting $500,000 is not the finish line, and it's not supposed to feel like one. It's a checkpoint where your mindset needs an update, just like your financial strategy probably does. Second, when you notice that comparison creeping in, that feeling of everyone else has more, try shifting the comparison inward. Instead of comparing yourself to other people, compare yourself to your past self. The person who started this journey would likely be amazed at where you are now. That comparison is more accurate and far more motivating. Third, when decisions start feeling heavier, slow down on purpose, but don't freeze. Big decisions deserve more thought, yes, but they don't deserve infinite delay. Give yourself a decision deadline. Research, reflect, then choose. And trust that a thoughtful decision made on time is almost always better than a perfect decision made too late or never. Fourth, separate your financial goals from your emotional goals. Let money do what money does best. Create options, reduce financial stress, build security, but look for happiness, connection, and meaning in the places that were always meant to provide them: relationships, health, purpose, growth. And finally, remember that the habits that got you to $500,000, consistency, patience, simple, smart choices, are usually the same habits that will take you to the next level. The goal isn't to become a different person who matches this new number. The goal is to keep being the person who built it, just with a little more awareness of how your mind reacts as the numbers grow. Quick thing before we continue. If you're finding this helpful, hitting that subscribe button genuinely helps this channel grow, and it means more videos like this one keep coming your way. It takes like 2 seconds, costs you nothing, and honestly, future you will thank present you for it. Okay, back to the video. Conclusion. So here's the thing about $500,000. It's not a finish line, and it's not a trophy. It's a mirror and a checkpoint, and honestly, a kind of psychological test that almost nobody warns you about. The version of you that reaches this number isn't suddenly a different person, but the way your brain responds to it, that does change. The comparisons shift, the decisions feel heavier, the identity questions get louder, and the realization that money can't fix everything finally settles in. None of that means something is wrong. It means you're paying attention, and the people who navigate this stage well aren't the ones who feel nothing when they hit big milestones. They're the ones who notice what's happening inside their own minds and choose on purpose to keep building with the same patience that got them here in the first place. Because the real milestone isn't the number on the screen. It's the moment you realize you were the one creating it all along. So, that's the breakdown for today. If this video helped shift the way you think about money, even just a little, that's exactly what this channel is here for. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. It really helps the channel, and it helps more people find this stuff who actually need it. Drop a comment and let me know what part of this hit home for you the most. I read every single one, and honestly, your comments often turn into future video ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.